The surge in adoption of streaming music services, especially among younger consumer segments, has led many to predict the demise of traditional broadcast radio. However, while younger audiences are certainly shifting in general towards music consumption via streaming platforms, when it comes to in-vehicle entertainment, real-time radio is still the most listened to source, even among the youngest drivers. A recent Strategy Analytics survey of Western European drivers aged 18 to 24 found that 69% of this group listened to radio in the car at least once per week, exactly the same percentage that listens to streaming music. In December 2019, Strategy Analytics conducted a qualitative study with 18 drivers aged between 20 and 30 in the UK and the USA to explore their in-vehicle listening habits in detail and to understand what factors drive these behaviours. All participants owned or leased a car, which they drove every day. In addition, they also were active users of at least one streaming music service. Of the 18 participants interviewed, all but one listened to FM or digital broadcast radio at some point while they were in their car. 15 out of the 18 actively chose to listen to radio in the mornings on their way to work.
So in the mornings I quite like just the radio because it's quite chilled and relaxing. So I like listening to see what's going on in the world, so it's just always got the news, so I always listen to the radio in the morning.
Those who were least likely to listen to the radio said that there were too many adverts, and this was off-putting.
I usually remote start it from my house, and the radio will default onto FM, and so if something catches my attention, then I'll leave it on, something like the news or if something big happened the night before. But as soon as the commercials go, then I'll change it back to my Apple Music.
But for most drivers, radio is the preferred source of entertainment during the morning commute. The reasons that they choose to listen to broadcast radio rather than streaming music at this time fall into two broad categories: convenience and value. Especially on the morning commute, these drivers consider it more convenient to listen to the radio. When going to work, time is of the essence. When drivers turn on their car, the radio starts to play right away. There's no need for them to actively connect their smartphone or think about what they want to listen to. And the rolling nature of broadcast radio shows means they don't need to fit the content around the time available to listen. So there's no need to think about whether their commute is going to be long enough to listen to an entire podcast, for example.
Usually I'm running a little bit behind, so just for speed of just getting away, I don't want to waste any time on my drive just setting up a playlist or something and connecting it.
I just think it's just so much easier and convenient, and you can find a radio station that's suited to you.
Unless I get in the car and there's something interesting on, or a good song, or the DJs are talking about something interesting, then I'll just leave it on the radio for convenience.
Okay. Again, that's what I sort of come back to. If I'm doing a drive that's over 45 to an hour, then I'd probably put the time to sort of select a podcast before setting off and then enjoy that. Whereas otherwise it would just be stick the radio on.
Okay.
Moreover, this study found that broadcast radio offers drivers additional value that can't be provided by streaming music services. Listening to a radio presenter they like brightens their mood and provides companionship on what can be a monotonous journey. Morning radio shows deliver all of the information that a listener wants: news, traffic, weather, and so on, and the entertainment they like, all in one place. And radio provides real-time insight into news, current affairs, celebrity gossip, and so on, making them feel productive while they drive and providing conversation starters for when they arrive at work.
I would always put the radio, I can't drive in silence.
Especially if I'm just been on my own all morning and not actually spoken to anyone yet, it can just sort of ease you into real life before you get to work, and as I said, often the topics of conversation that they strike up between them on the radio engage thoughts, and then you sort of have opinions on that, and then you might sort of strike up a conversation at work about the same issues.
I feel like there's probably a bigger variety of like new music that I can get on the radio versus the same playlist that I have on my Apple Play.
Okay. Our research identified stark differences in listening behaviour depending on the time of day, reason for travel, and whether passengers are in the vehicle. Streaming music services tend to be prioritised over radio for longer journeys, or journeys where drivers have more time for pre-trip planning.
So stream music would probably be on my way to a guitar lesson.
Okay.
A lot of the time also on the drive back home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want something completely different. I've already heard all the news or read it on the internet, for example.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy just to set a playlist going.
So it depends on my mood. Like if I'm in traffic, then I have like a calmer traffic playlist that keeps me kind of level-headed. If I'm going to the gym, more pumped up music, dance tunes. If I don't know what I want, sometimes I turn on the radio and just let the radio take me where to discover new artists or songs. Yeah.
If I'm doing a drive that's over 45 to an hour, then yeah, I'd probably put the time to sort of select a podcast before setting off and then enjoy that.
Based on this research, Strategy Analytics believes that fears of the demise of radio listening in the car are unfounded. There is clearly still a very specific need for FM and digital broadcast radio. While it is true that time spent listening to streaming music services is growing strongly, these services complement radio and are useful in different circumstances and for different types of journey. In our opinion, services such as Spotify and Apple Music are not a real threat to radio in the near future, as they simply can't provide the key value that real-time event radio can deliver, especially on the morning commute. In our view, broadcasters who rush to embrace podcasts and other non-linear delivery channels for radio at the expense of broadcast are at risk of failing to develop a key part of the in-vehicle entertainment experience. For more information about Strategy Analytics, our ongoing independent research, or our custom solutions to help you optimize your user experience, please contact your nearest office.